Will the people in the back please take their seats? We cannot start until everybody has been seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll start calling out names. Okay. Yeah, my was off. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please be seated while the ministers and the VIPs enter the room? Thank you very much.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 8th Annual Internet Governance Forum meeting. We will now start the opening session of the IGF 2013. And to start off with, I would like to call upon the Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, UNDESA, Mr. Thomas Gus, to give the opening remarks. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Communication and Information Technology, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to be here with all of you in beautiful Bali at this important event. It's also my pleasure to deliver a message. Yes. Well, it's also my pleasure to deliver a message here on behalf of Under-Secretary General Wu Hongbo, who regretfully could not be with us today. On behalf of the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, allow me to welcome you to the 8th annual meeting of the Internet Governance Forum. I thank the government and people of Indonesia for hosting this important event. A special thanks, yes. A special thanks must also be given to the Indonesian Multi-Stakeholder Organizing Committee for all of the hard work it has put in to pull this forum together. Thank you very much. And let us also acknowledge all of the past, current and future donors to the IGF Trust Fund. Without your financial support, both monetary and in-kind, the sustainability of the IGF would not be possible. So thank you to all those who have invested financially in making this possible. Finally, I also want to recognize the members of the Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group of the IGF. These are the people who provide leadership and guidance to the forum, who have been leading your workshops, who will be leading your workshops, who are helping to support the discussions. The United Nations is grateful for your work, ladies and gentlemen. As the forum continues to grow, your role becomes increasingly more important. So thank you to the MAG members here among us. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me reaffirm today the support of the United Nations for the multi-stakeholder model for Internet governance that the IGF embodies. This embodiment is seen at its annual meetings and at all of the regional and national IGFs that are held throughout the year. The forum continues to be the premier multi-stakeholder forum for policy dialogue related to Internet governance issues. This is a direct result of the dedication and commitment of you here today and thousands of others participating remotely. It is you, the many stakeholders of the IGF, participants from governments, intergovernmental organizations, civil society, the business community, and the Internet technical communities who are responsible for the success of the forum to date. As you know, this meeting marks the third year of the IGF's second five-year mandate. In 2015, once again, the IGF will be reviewed by the General Assembly in connection with the broad review of overall WSIS implementation efforts. The Secretary General stands behind the continued growth and success of the IGF. The most recent statement, the joint statement of the United Nations Group on the Information Society, emphasized the need for increased interaction between the post-2015 development agenda and the World Summit on Information Society +10 review process. Such an interaction should create synergies so that parallel efforts across the UN system are coherent, connected, and coordinated to achieve maximum sustainable impact. We look forward to working closely with our partner agencies such as UNCTAD, UNESCO, the ITU and others to ensure that we create such synergies. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, together we must build bridges where gaps may exist towards ensuring that our global internet is one that promotes peace and security, that enables development and ensures human rights. Inclusive, transparent and collaborative governance of the internet is essential if we are to rebuild trust and to truly harness the potential of ICTs to achieve sustainable development for generations to come. Only with good governance will we be able to foster an accessible, affordable and safe internet. As the international community strives to accelerate the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals by 2015, and as it shapes the post-2015 development agenda that focuses on sustainable development, expanding the benefits of ICTs is crucial. Nearly 40% of people worldwide will be online by the end of the year. However, with more than two-thirds of those in developing countries remaining unconnected, there is no place for complacency. ICTs in general, and the Internet in particular, play an important part in ensuring rights-based development, especially enabling a greater exercise of freedom of expression and freedom of the press. These freedoms in turn are critical to combating corruption, ensuring gender sensitivity, deepening social accountability and promoting social inclusive development. The Internet has become a critical driver of and an essential tool for the creation of jobs and the delivery of basic public services, for improving access to knowledge and education, for empowering women, for enhancing transparency, and for giving marginalized populations a voice in decision-making processes that directly affect their own lives. ICTs by themselves cannot guarantee the achievement of development goals. An enabling online environment which we create together during the IGF is critical to ensure that the potentials of information communication technologies for sustainable development is fully harnessed by and for all. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have learned that cyberspace, while clearly accelerating economic and social development in many ways, will continue to present us with new emerging opportunities and threats. This makes the IGF platform all the more important. A major issue that has arisen over the past year is that of surveillance of the Internet. Through concerns about national security and criminal activity, although concerns about national security and criminal activity may justify exceptional and narrowly tailored use of surveillance, any surveillance without safeguards to protect the right to privacy hampers fundamental freedoms. People should feel secure in the knowledge that their private communications are not being unduly or unjustly scrutinized by the state or by other actors. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted more than 60 years ago, includes Article 19 that proclaims that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. We need to work together to find the appropriate balance between security and openness. Because the global Internet, accessed through all of today's various ICTs, is transforming our world, opening doors, educating and empowering people, saving and improving lives. So our overall objective must be to ensure universal access to ICTs, especially for the world's population currently not online. We must also strive to open data and share it for the benefit of all. To cite a recommendation by the high-level panel of eminent persons on the post-2015 development agenda, we need a data revolution. Let us continue to work together to find consensus on how to effectively govern the Internet to keep it open, accessible, affordable, secure and beneficial for all. I wish you all yet another successful annual Internet Governance Forum. Now, in accordance with the customs of the Internet Governance Forum, I have the honor to invite you, Excellency Titaftul Sembering, Minister of Communication and Information Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, to assume the chair of the 2013 IGF. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace and prosperity to us all. Good afternoon, everybody. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Indonesia and its people, welcome all of you to Indonesia and the island of Bali. It is truly an honor for Indonesia to host the 8th Internet Governance Forum. Likewise, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to representatives of governments, international organizations, civil societies, academia, business and industry sectors, and technical communities for participating in this forum. I would also like to extend my appreciation to the United Nations and the IGF Secretariat for their cooperations with the Ministry of the Information and Communication of the Republic of Indonesia in the preparation of this IGF. And to Assistant Secretary General Gas, thank you for your kind words. It is my pleasure to accept the chairmanship of the 2013 IGF. We look forward to a very productive and useful dialogue over the next few days. Also to Abji and Pandi to all kindly support for this meeting. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Internet presents opportunities for development and valuable contribution in connecting and providing closer and easier communication to its billion users. Internet also expands the reach and effectiveness of social development projects. This growing trend of the use and reliance of people at all levels on Internet have encouraged the nations to provide Internet access wider and broader to their peoples. Indonesia indeed is no exception. We are now one of the countries with the largest Internet users. Until 2012, we have more than 63 million Internet users, or approximately 24% of Indonesia's total population. During the last decade, Internet traffic volume in Indonesia has grown by more than 2 million. This number is stimulated by the growing number of local content providers and local applications throughout the nation. Nevertheless, making the Internet available to our people is not the only goal we want to achieve. We are also committed to make sure that it is affordably and equitably accessible throughout the nation, particularly in rural areas. We also expect in the next few years the expansion of Internet for SME will support Indonesia's e-commerce sector, which contribute to our economic growth and sustainable development. These are our national priorities in order to maximize the potential advantages of Internet enjoyed by the individual as well as the nation and beyond. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, despite of the broad potential of Internet, these emerging trends also create challenges that we are facing today. The rapid expansion of technology and Internet also creates challenges which threatens individuals, societies, and even nations, and may lead to tensions and eventually conflicts. It widens the multidimensional divide among the societies and also creates other drawbacks such as cybercrimes, the questions of ethics in virtual world, vulnerability from exploitation, and exposure to danger and deception when using the Internet, and digital illiteracy, which emanates due to the progressive rate of unemployment in developing countries. Increased connectivity indeed poses myriad adverse impacts and a real security concern that need to be addressed. It therefore requires us to assure global public confidence and security in the use of Internet. We need to ensure that the cyber technology brings us common progress, peace and prosperity. And to reach that objective, neither governments nor non-government entities could work alone. Securing the cyberspace requires a global partnership between and among governments, civil societies, private sectors and other stakeholders. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the IGF meetings that have been convened annually since 2006 have shown to us the importance and the advantages as well as benefits of close multi-stakeholder dialogue and cooperation in developing our common goal. IGF as multi-stakeholder forum was established from our one big concern on what the future of the Internet will be. This forum was established from big question: how should we govern the Internet for the benefit of all? To address our common concern and answer the question, we need all stakeholders, governments, private sectors, civil societies, technical and academic communities to participate and contribute all resources we have. And this year, in the 8th IGF in Bali, Indonesia, we are going to continue to strengthen our collaboration. The theme of this 8th IGF, Building Bridge, Enhancing Multi-Stakeholder Cooperation for Growth and Sustainable Development, is not only relevant to Indonesia, but also for most of countries in the world. What we are addressing within the next 4 days requires a comprehensive and multidimensional approach, and therefore it is my fervent hope that your personal contribution in the discussion. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that IGF 2013 will give significant contributions to recent global discussion on Internet governance. Let us seize this opportunity to reaffirm our support for the Internet governance, drawing strategic concrete actions in addressing the challenges on Internet. I also believe that through closer and open dialogues we can come up with common views and mutual understanding in order to strengthen engagement and to enhance multi-stakeholder cooperation for growth and sustainable development. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, to formally open the IGF 2013 in Bali, Mr. Gas, I would like you to join me in a traditional Indonesia custom for opening important events. Please come with me to the gong. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, we continue. Excellence.
Hello, testing. Hello?
Okay, thank you. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, now the IGF 2013 is formally opened. It will be continued with several contributions from some eminent from IGF stakeholders, communities. To arrange the presentation of the contributions, I would like to ask the IGF Secretariat, Mr. Cheng Tai Masango, to invite our speakers. Mr. Cheng Tai Masango, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman Simbring. We will now proceed with the opening remarks by representatives of all stakeholder groups. We have 18 people on the list who will each speak for around about 6 minutes. Please kindly try and keep in that time frame. If not, I may remind you from time to time to keep it short. Thank you. Our first speaker is traditionally the ITU Secretary General, Mr. Hamadon Turi. Unfortunately, he could not be here with us today, but he did send us a video message so he can speak to us virtually. If you can please put that up on the screens now. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to appreciate the government of Indonesia for hosting the Internet Governance Forum and inviting ITU, while I do also commend the United Nations, especially UNDESA, for organizing the IGF in Bali, Indonesia. I am sorry not to be able to join you in person this year, but happy to be joining you virtually. From the beginning, ITU has been firmly committed to the IGF, which is a great example of multi-stakeholder action. As the United Nations agency that initiated the WSIS process in 2003, ITU is proud to see that multi-stakeholderism has evolved to the level where different stakeholders can develop consensus on critical issues to the information society. Since 2005, WSIS issues have been addressed in the multi-stakeholder WSIS forum, which this year attracted over 1,800 participants. The forum is now being used for the WSIS review, aiming at the elaboration of a concrete WSIS vision beyond 2015 to be adopted at the WSIS Plus 10 high-level event next year. Let me encourage all of you to engage in the ongoing WSIS Plus 10 preparatory process. It has been a very busy year for ITU since the last IGF, with different events including the WTSA and WCIT 12 in Dubai and WTPF 13 in Geneva. It was tremendous at the WTPF to see more than 900 participants present, including many of you, working together in such a positive spirit of collaboration. The WTPF produced multi-stakeholder agreement on 6 non-binding opinions to guide Internet-related policy making, as well as a clear recognition of the importance of continuing the discussion in various forums. As a result, ITU is organizing an open talk here at the IGF, focusing on the role of governments in the multi-stakeholder model, and I would like to encourage you all to take this opportunity to make your voices heard. Ladies and gentlemen, this year is particularly important for all of us, given the lively debate concerning international frameworks in a world where major recent events in the news reflect growing global concerns about freedom of expression, privacy, data protection, and security in cyberspace. Let me therefore reassure you that although I will not be able to listen and participate in person, ITU will nonetheless be fully engaged in all of the discussions at the IGF. I wish you a very successful forum. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's my great pleasure to invite His Excellency Elmer Valazida, Deputy Minister of Communications and Information Technology of the Republic of Azerbaijan, the host country of IGF 2012. Thank you.
Excellency Mr. Thomas Gass, Excellency Mr. Tifatul, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the delegation of the Republic of Azerbaijan and personally, I would like to extend our greeting for you all. We have already met majority of you within the framework of 7th IGF meeting in Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. Baku IGF was marked by its highest participation, dynamism, and content richness. Overall, 128 countries, 1,600 delegates, remote participants from 3,800 unique IPs were involved, and a variety of topics as well as 120 workshops were conducted throughout the forum. Therefore, we assume the Baku meeting was positive input to the IGF process. I consider that the current meeting in Bali will be a vital step for the future advancement of IGF movement. Taking this opportunity, I want to express our sincere gratitude to organizers and wish fruitful view exchange during the forum. Generally, considering the essential role of Internet at the global level, as well as its importance for states and individuals, we assume the IGF as the most appropriate platform for the discussions of issues on Internet governance and defining common principles, mechanisms and procedures. Those of IGF assembling public, private and civil society represented together provides unique opportunity for multi-stakeholder initiatives and will be the major cause for the positive outcomes. This fact is quite well illustrated in the main theme of forum, building bridges, enhancing multi-stakeholder cooperation for growth and the sustainable development. Dear forum participants, the advancing of the ICT is the most priority sector at development policy of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The obvious truth of this fact is that, and the 2013 was declared as ICT year by His Excellency Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. This year, Azerbaijan successfully launched its first telecommunication satellite and has joined it to the list of cosmic countries. The development of ICT was depicted at special chapter of Azerbaijan 2020, the Vision of Future Development Concept. The activities on modernization on communication infrastructure, establishing fiber optic cable network covering all residential areas, and expansion on broadband services within country is into consideration during discussions within the framework of IGF. Meanwhile, boosting the cooperation between states, defining principle and procedure for transparent internet governance, providing safe internet, and precisely using internet for development should be our ultimate goal. Dear forum participants, at the end of my speech, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to UN for their administration of the current meeting, to IGF Geneva Secretariat for displaying impressive performance year by year, and all UN specialized institutions, particularly to UNDESA, as well as wish good luck to all forum participants. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Papalazada. On behalf of IGF participants, I would like to thank you and the people of Azerbaijan for your kindness while hosting us at the IGF 2012. And now we carry on with our speakers from all stakeholder groups. The order from now on was chosen yesterday through a random drawing. And the first speaker is His Excellency Paulo Bernardo Silva, Minister of Communications from the Federative Republic of Brazil. Mr. Minister.
Mr. Tomagas da UNDESA, Mr. Titaful Semberin, Ministro das Comunicações e Tecnologia da Informação da República da Indonésia, Mr. Massango, senhoras e senhores, no dia 24 de setembro, a presidenta do Brasil, Dilma Rousseff, proferiu discurso para representantes de mais de 190 países que participavam da Assembleia Geral das Nações Unidas. Naquela ocasião, logo em suas primeiras palavras, ela levou à consideração das delegações nacionais um tema ao qual reputou a maior relevância e gravidade. A presidenta se referia às atividades de espionagem eletrônica que gerou fortes questionamentos sobre a forma como funciona a internet atualmente. Venho hoje, diante de todos aqui, reverberar as preocupações de nossa presidenta, que refletiu na ONU o sentimento de cada brasileiro e brasileira. E venho também trazer as visões do Brasil sobre o tema e pedir o apoio dos participantes deste IGF para que possamos desenhar juntos um novo caminho. O Brasil reconhece o valor da internet. É por meio dela que novos horizontes de desenvolvimento econômico e social se abrem, conhecimentos e oportunidades são compartilhados e, principalmente, a cidadania é promovida. Precisamos construir um novo modelo para a governança da internet que nos permita materializar todas estas possibilidades, mas que também seja verdadeiramente democrático e transparente, e que garanta os direitos humanos, a liberdade de expressão, a privacidade, a segurança de todos e a soberania dos países. A sociedade brasileira conquistou diversos avanços democráticos nas últimas décadas. Eleições livres, liberdade de imprensa, direitos humanos em permanente afirmação e políticas de inclusão social e de distribuição de renda. Na esteira destes avanços, vimos nascer no país uma internet que em muito reflete os valores que estão por trás da nossa trajetória recente. Nosso quinhão na rede mundial é um dos mais pulsantes no planeta. Faz o país mais aberto para o mundo sem deixar de refletir nossa cultura, nossa política e nossa economia. Acolhe protestos, negócios, diversão e conhecimento. Protege o indivíduo sem restringir suas liberdades e sem esquecer da diversidade do nosso povo. No Brasil, já somos mais de 100 milhões de brasileiros conectados, segundo pesquisa divulgada ontem no Brasil. Nos últimos anos, mais lugares e mais pessoas foram incluídos digitalmente. Avançamos particularmente nas regiões menos atendidas e, com isso, estamos diminuindo o hiato digital em nosso país. Apesar de já fazermos uso dos benefícios que a conectividade oferece à vida de milhões de brasileiros, ainda temos pela frente o desafio de levar a internet a muitos de nossos compatriotas. Entretanto, não queremos qualquer internet. A internet não é apenas uma medida do avanço tecnológico ou econômico de uma sociedade. Ela é um grande instrumento a favor da humanidade e deve se prestar ao bom uso, ao progresso dos povos e das nações. O seu uso é também falar deste desequilíbrio econômico e de como equacioná-lo. Há uma insatisfação clara e generalizada com o status quo. Se a internet é reconhecida como lugar onde novas formas de participação democrática são colocadas em prática, acredito ter chegado a hora de darmos mais democracia a ela. Há muito o Brasil se manifesta nesse sentido e nos congratulamos com as organizações que firmaram recentemente a Declaração de Montevidéu sobre o futuro da cooperação da internet. A voz do Brasil e de outros países em desenvolvimento vem se somar a esse coro. Parece ficar claro, de uma vez por todas, que para existir uma internet é preciso a voz de todos os países e de todos os setores. Buscamos um modelo que incorpore os princípios mencionados pela presidenta Dilma em seu discurso na ONU. Liberdade de expressão, privacidade do indivíduo e respeito aos direitos humanos, governança democrática, multilateral e aberta, exercida com transparência, estimulando a criação coletiva e a participação da sociedade, dos governos e do setor privado. E como a presidenta Dilma acrescentou via Twitter neste domingo, um modelo multi-stakeholder. Universalidade que assegura o desenvolvimento social e humano e a construção de sociedades inclusivas e não discriminatórias. Diversidade cultural sem imposição de crenças, costumes e valores. E neutralidade da rede, ao respeitar apenas critérios técnicos e éticos, tornando inadmissível restrições por motivos políticos, comerciais, religiosos ou de qualquer outra natureza. No Brasil, ao longo de quase 20 anos, temos tido experiências muito positivas no tratamento de questões relevantes no manejo da internet. O Comitê Gestor da Internet Brasileira é referência mundial neste modelo multi-stakeholder, em que estão juntos, lado a lado, membros do governo, do setor empresarial, da sociedade civil e da comunidade acadêmica. Ao mesmo tempo, estamos próximos de concluir a votação do Marco Civil da Internet em nosso país. Trata-se de legislação moderna que estabelece um conjunto de princípios de uso da internet no Brasil e define direitos e deveres dos usuários. Os princípios que norteiam a governança e o uso da internet no Brasil dialogam positivamente com o momento e o sentimento que compartilhamos aqui no encontro do IGF. Estamos prontos para o diálogo aberto, com vistas a desenhar um novo modelo para a governança da internet no mundo. E o histórico de atuação de nosso país em diferentes fóruns internacionais nos credencia para isso. Temos feito tudo ao nosso alcance para absorver em nosso campo de ação o resultado dos recentes acontecimentos ligados à espionagem de nossos cidadãos, nossas empresas e de nossas autoridades. Temos também a preocupação de que a quebra da confiança na internet em todo o mundo, diante das denúncias de espionagem, leve a uma fragmentação da internet em níveis nacionais. E a forma como se dá a governança da internet hoje apenas agrava este cenário. Se há algo que vem contribuindo para o movimento em direção à sua fragmentação, é exatamente o predomínio por décadas de uma unilateralidade e centralidade excessivas, tanto no que diz respeito à conectividade quanto à localização de dados e informações. A rede tem sido aberta para tudo, menos no modo de ser governada. Por isso, recebemos com satisfação a visita do Sr. Fadi Cherradé, presidente da ICANN, logo após o evento de Montevidéu, especialmente quando nos relatou a disposição das entidades iStars de promover mudanças institucionais na governança da internet. Nossa presidenta concordou com a proposta de realizar um encontro internacional para discutir e propor essas mudanças. Portanto, gostaria de convidá-los, não apenas para comparecer, mas para ajudar a construir esse grande encontro mundial sobre a governança da internet a realizar-se no Brasil no primeiro semestre de 2014. Com a participação da sociedade, da comunidade técnica e das empresas, como costumamos fazer no Brasil, queremos, com os demais países, rediscutir os rumos da governança da internet mundial. Se me perguntarem agora qual é o modelo que defendo para a governança da internet, sou obrigado a admitir que não tenho uma resposta pronta. Os princípios são aqueles que acabei de mencionar, mas os detalhes, o formato, precisam ser construídos. E a melhor maneira de construir é fazê-lo coletivamente. Podemos sair de lá com compromissos claros e uma agenda comum bem definida que aponte para as ações concretas a serem desenvolvidas por todos nós. Mas para isso, precisamos da cooperação de quem estuda, vive e constrói a internet. O IGF reúne pessoas com capacidade, conhecimento e compromisso com a internet aberta, democrática e participativa. Mais que isso, reúne paixão, difícil de ser encontrada nesse nível. Por esse motivo, a presidenta Dilma me mandou aqui, para buscar a ajuda deste fórum e de cada um de vocês. Desejo que esses dias aqui no IGF sejam propícios para renovarmos toda essa disposição e que dentro de alguns meses tenhamos o melhor de todos nós à disposição na continuidade dos debates, até a reunião no Brasil. Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much, Minister. The next speaker on my list is Mr. Shadi Abu Zara, Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI Lead, World Wide Web Consortium, W3C.
Wow. I must say, beautiful stage and beautiful place to have this conference. Thank you for your hospitality, Indonesia. So as mentioned, my name is Shadi Abu Zara. I work with the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C. More specifically, with the W3C Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI. W3C is an international organization that develops the core standards of the web, such as HTML, XML, and many more, that together build the web as we know it today. The web is the predominant interface to the internet. W3C was founded by Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, and he continues to direct the consortium. W3C standards are developed collaboratively in an open environment and are freely available on a royalty-free basis. This has significantly contributed to the wide success of the web as the open platform that we know today that is available on a multitude of devices, on the desktops, on mobile phones, on tablets, increasingly on televisions, and so on. The W3C Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI, develops strategies, guidelines, and resources to make the web accessible to people with disabilities. It's an integral part of W3C since 1997. Some of you might know the WAI Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG. These W3C standards on how to create websites that are accessible to people with disabilities is internationally recognized among many organizations and governments around the world as the standard for web accessibility. Recently, it has also been adopted by ISO, the ISO number 40500, as an international standard as well. But today I speak on behalf of the IGF Dynamic Coalition on Accessibility and Disability, DCAD, DICAD. It is generously hosted and supported by the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, and is chaired by Ms. Andrea Sachs, many of you may know. DICAD was formed soon after the first IGF meeting in Athens, when many of us soon realized the many issues that stand before us that need to be addressed at, with, and through the IGF. And that stronger, with a united voice, we have a stronger position to address. You see, the internet is of utter importance to people with disabilities. Never before has there been such an opportunity for people with disabilities to participate equally in society. The internet provides access to education, employment, government services, and much more. It helps people to combat poverty and social exclusion that affect many people with disabilities all around the world. It empowers people to be active members of society and live with independence and dignity rather than on welfare and depending on others. This is the reason why the UN adopted the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the UNCRPD, that recognizes access to information, including information on the internet, as a human right. But it is also why the IGF is so critically important. It serves as an international multi-stakeholder platform for raising awareness of the global community, discussing the issues, and looking at ways of reducing accessibility barriers for people with disabilities. Because unfortunately, there are still many accessibility barriers that prevent people with disabilities from benefiting from the unique and unprecedented opportunity that the internet provides. As we speak here in this room today, one of our colleagues is unfortunately unable to join remotely because the system doesn't work with the screen reading software that he needs to use to operate his computer as a blind user. He and many others are not able to participate in our discussion because some of technical incompatibilities that are actually solvable if the developers of those different systems that need to work together were more aware of the needs and the standards that exist. But it's exactly this lack of participation of people with disabilities that contributes to lack of awareness about the need for accessibility. In turn, it leads to yet more exclusion and promotes a vicious cycle that we together have to break. On the other hand, accessibility has many benefits for everyone. For example, text-to-speech is essential for blind people to use computers, as with our colleagues who's unable to join today. But it's also critical for the inclusion of people with low language skills for whatever reason, and there are a broad variety of reasons. For instance, low literacy, migration, ethnic minorities, and so on. So when we talk about internet governance and how to address the needs of all members of our society, including the many overlapping needs that we all have in common, it is essential that truly everyone is involved in the discussion and in the process. And there have been many improvements over the years. Today, we have remote participation and real-time captioning, which prove to be so useful to so many participants, especially for those who In this case, their first language is not English, regardless of any disability. But there's still much more that needs to be done to truly get everyone involved. So the DICAD put together guidelines for accessible IGF meetings for everyone. DICAD tried to document good practices on accessibility and to help transition of the IGF from one host country to the next. The DICAD has been evolving those guidelines over the years, and with the strong support of the IGF Secretariat, and I really wish to emphasize the strong support that we've been receiving from the Secretariat, without which we would have not been able to be as effective and contribute to the IGF. These guidelines are made available to the host countries. They're also available from the DICAD homepage on the ITU website, which sponsors the DICAD and supports and runs its Secretariat. We hope that also the regional IGFs and other event planners will use these guidelines to make their events more open and more inclusive to everyone. We at the DICAD also provide ourselves as resources to the IGF and to the host countries, and always seek exchanges with other groups on the many overlapping aspects of internet governance that we all commonly have. So, this is an open invitation for you to work with us, the DICAD, not only on making the IGF, but the internet in itself more accessible and more inclusive to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abuza. The next speaker is Mr. Sabine Verheyen, member of the European Parliament for Aachen, Germany.
Excellencies, distinguished participants and organizers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak at this opening panel this afternoon, and I'm happy to represent the European Parliament's delegation at the IGF in Bali. The Internet is a multifaceted economy and social space. It is the extremely fast development that has created a new world of possibilities, challenges as well as risks for business, citizens and states. The Internet has become the central nervous system of our information society. Over the last 15 years, personal computers and tablets, mobile phones and smartphones, and many other devices have transformed the way we access and use information, and they will change the way we communicate, learn, travel, buy and live. These developments are that profound that they cannot be left to the interaction between business and users. They need to be closely followed by politics, and developments need to be addressed as quickly as possible for two reasons. Establishing a business environment that creates opportunities and safeguards fair competition on the one hand, and on the other hand securing citizens' rights and allow users to fully benefit from the advantages of an open, transparent and fair Internet. A fresh look at the EU Internet strategy for the time after the next European elections in 2014 is needed. The EU will have to shape a common strategy as important decisions will have to be taken, and these must address adequately the challenges. Otherwise, the EU will miss the essential steps towards economic growth in a new era of Internet. Guaranteeing freedom of expression, free flow of information and access for everyone, as well as taking care of individual rights and business will remain the benchmarks of our approach. For me, there are three main political issues to be focused during the next legislative term of the European Parliament 2014 to 2019. The Internet must be transparent and safe. The Internet must be open and competitive. And the Internet must be fair and inclusive. The European Parliament sent an ad hoc delegation to WSIS in 2005 and thereafter to every annual meeting of the IGF. The issues discussed at this forum are of utmost importance to the policy debates on EU level. There are various Internet governance-related policies discussed on EU level at the moment. For example, this week the European Council is discussing digital agenda policies in Brussels and will set the political guidelines in this field for the next year. The meeting focuses on various questions related to the digital economy, innovation and services. The overall aim is to overcome market fragmentation in Europe and develop a stable legal framework which will boost the digital internal market. The European Parliament is working very closely with the other European institutions on achieving this aim. For us, key policy debates have circled around questions of net neutrality, data protection, cybersecurity, media pluralism, the European Cloud Partnership, copyright, big data, open data, broadband rollout, and the protection of minors online and spectrum allocation, just to name a few of them. These topics are very much related to the broader Internet governance questions, and we will be discussing in the following days. Ladies and gentlemen, last year there were growing concerns over proposals being presented by different states on international level which would impact the Internet architecture, operations, content, security, businesses, relations, Internet governance and in some cases the free flow of information online. The European Parliament has always rejected any ideas of making changes to the international telecommunications regime, which would generally give a regulatory power over the Internet to a supranational government organization. The European Parliament has always supported the present bottom-up, multi-stakeholder model that has expressed concerns that any proposal that might question the multi-stakeholder model may seriously affect the development of and access to online services for end users, as well as the digital economy as a whole. A centralized governance of the Internet is certainly nothing which is desired on European level. The Internet has made an enormous contribution to growth and innovation in Europe's economies and has become a crucial part of the everyday life of most citizens. Much of this success is down to the openness of the Internet as a platform, providing low barriers to entry and fertile ground for innovation, in particular the development of new content and applications. Therefore, Internet governance and related regulatory issues should continue to be defined at a comprehensive and multi-stakeholder level. We believe in the institution of the IGF as it has a clear focus on bringing together people from all stakeholder groups to engage as equals in a dialogue on public policy issues related to the Internet and its governance. Nevertheless, I'm sure we will have many discussions this week about the future organization of the IGF. During these discussions, we should keep in mind our common commitment to build a people-centered, open, competitive, fair, transparent, inclusive and development-oriented Internet, where everyone can create, access, utilize and share information and knowledge. I'm looking forward to fruitful discussions, and I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Verheyen. Our next speaker is His Excellency Masahiro Yoshisaki, Vice Minister of Policy Coordination, Ministry of International Affairs and Communications, Japan.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Yoshizaki, Japanese government. First of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked hard to make this forum possible. This forum is a valuable international platform where we can discuss a wide range of Internet governance issues. There are many issues to discuss concerning Internet governance, but I have only a few minutes today. So I would like to introduce Japan's activities, especially concerning cybersecurity issues, which is one of the sub-themes of this forum. Cyberspace continues to expand beyond national borders and has become widely used across the board, along with the spread of the Internet. Accompanied with such an expansion of cyberspace, cybercrimes and cyber risks are also expanding and globalizing. For this reason, in order to ensure security in cyberspace from attacks, Japan adopted a new cybersecurity strategy this June. Based on this strategy, Japan is working on the maintenance of safe and secure telecommunications networks by addressing public-private partnerships, international cooperation, technological development, and so forth. Japan also issued the International Strategy on Cybersecurity Cooperation, J Initiative for Cybersecurity, on 2nd October, in order to make clear the Japanese policy to actively engage in collaboration and mutual assistance with other relevant states on this issue. The following 3 points are the focus stage agenda of this policy. 1. International rule-making of norms and technical criterion. 2. Collaboration between investigating authorities for cross-border cybercrimes. 3. Conformation with trade rules so as not to degrade security levels by prioritization of one's own country's technology. Let me introduce to you a recent example of such an effort. Cooperation between ASEAN and Japan was established 40 years ago. So, this September, Japan with ASEAN held the ASEAN-Japan Ministerial Policy Meeting on Cybersecurity Cooperation in Tokyo and adopted the joint ministerial statement of the ASEAN-Japan Ministerial Policy Meeting on Cybersecurity Cooperation. His Excellency, the Minister Sunbirin, thank you for your kindness and to come to Japan. At this meeting, Japan and ASEAN countries have promoted our cooperation by agreeing on the JASPA project. JASPA project is Japan-ASEAN Security Partnership Project, which achieves enhanced technical cooperation in the network security field of ASEAN by enabling us to detect and providing alert for malware infection throughout the region. Japan's fundamental policy is to secure free flow of information in cyberspace. From the viewpoint of that, everyone has the right to obtain maximum benefits from the Internet. No one has the right to disturb or deprive someone of his freedom by cyber attacks and cybercrimes. Furthermore, we believe that keeping openness and interoperability of the Internet without excessive control and regulation by governments leads the world sustainable growth and development. In order to achieve this, Japan will continue taking initiatives and working actively with other countries to build a safe and reliable cyberspace. Last but not least, I hope that fruitful discussion at this forum will encourage the international community to work together more hand in hand and to take an ever more effective approach to Internet governance issues. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Minister. The next speaker is Mr. Fadi Chahadi, President and CEO of ICANN.
Your Excellencies, and all of us, you, excellent ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I want to start really by asking the permission of our chairman to ask the people in this room who are with APG and PANDI to stand up, because for those of us who saw what they did behind the scenes, it is to them the thanks goes for all of this. So please, come on. Come on. Together with the amazing Shangatai Masango from the Secretariat of the IGF, these are the people that worked very hard in a multi-stakeholder fashion to bring this forum together. And really to them we owe the thanks. Thank you very, very much. A year ago, I met many of you for the first time at the Baku event. This was the 7th IGF and my first one. And at the time, if you remember, the big challenge that was put on the table, which I shared with all of you would be my priority, is to make ICANN a more international organization. ICANN was viewed very much as a maybe too much of a US-centric organization huddled up in Los Angeles, enjoying the California beaches, and asking the world always to come to ICANN. And we promised at the time that we will make ICANN go to the world. Today, I'm happy to report to you, a year later, that ICANN has gone to the world. We have divided our headquarters into 3 operational hubs in the world: Los Angeles, Istanbul, and Singapore. The hubs are open, operating legally, with employees in them and operations working around the clock. We have also opened engagement centers in China, in Montevideo, and I just came from India, where we announced the first center of excellence in the world for DNS security in partnership with the leading research organizations in India. This is just the beginning. Then we expanded ICANN, and we told our team to start moving out of Los Angeles. Our head of global policy is now based in Istanbul. Our next head of technology will be based in Singapore. I myself with my family will be moving to Singapore in January and then back to Istanbul in May. So we today have an organization that from the inside out is changing our center of gravity to be a global organization. But that's not enough. We're clear that truly international organizations must also change many things, not just their operational posture, but also potentially over time their legal posture. So whilst we are a California corporation today, there is nothing that precludes us being also, in addition to that, a legal organization in other places. And we intend to do that in order to make ICANN a more international organization. We also believe that our commitment to the world should be indeed to the world, not to any particular stakeholder. And we will work towards that and change that. These fundamental changes must happen because the current status quo is not sustainable. But we must do these with care. We must do these wisely, because the security, stability, and reliability of the internet must remain our number one job, because all of us depend on it. So we will do this, but we will do it as a community. We will work together, and we will get there. And finally, as part of our international focus, I am happy to announce today a very important piece of news. Today, for the first time in the history of the internet, ICANN has announced that the first new Arabic, Russian, and Chinese top-level domains has been sent to be delegated to the root of the internet. This is good news for the world and good news for all of us. And also for my aunt in Egypt, who can now type an entire domain in Arabic because she doesn't even have an English keyboard. So this is good for all of us. It's good for the users of the internet. And we will keep doing what we need to do to make ICANN and the internet a global place. Today is also a good time to talk about a new season for the internet. As ICANN becomes more international, internet governance needs to become also a global affair. Just today and yesterday, I had bilaterals in which many governments were coming to us and saying, we're finally embracing the need for our country and our government to be part of the multi-stakeholder effort to make the internet a better place. So internet governance is becoming everyone's interest, and that's a good thing. However, it could turn badly. It could end up being the affair of a few governments. And we all agree that while governments are central to internet governance, governments alone cannot govern the internet. Governments must partner with all stakeholders in the spirit of the IGF to create solutions that are multi-stakeholder. Governments, civil society, technical organizations, industry and businesses together, on an equal footing, as the Tunis Agenda said, on an equal footing, will govern the internet and will make it a better place for all of us. So today, I see nothing but good things ahead of us. I think this community is clear that the multi-stakeholder approach is a good approach. And as we look to the 2014 events, we look at great opportunities for us to work together to ensure that we do not, as the representative of the EU Parliament said, we do not create yet another major new organization. We don't need more organizations. We have good institutions. We should empower them. We should give them the ability to work together, to cooperate with all governments and all stakeholders together on an equal footing. These are good news. So let's together focus on what needs to be done. There's a lot of work to be done, but we are committed. ICANN, IETF, ISOC, and you'll hear from their leaders, the regional registries, and many of the business organizations, many of the civil society organizations, together, working with our governments, we can make this happen. Finally, I just would like to say, we are here to engage with each other. Let's use this week to really be open, to engage. Our minister from Brazil presented a very courageous new offer for all of us to engage. I thank him and I thank Brazil for their readiness to come here and engage the multi-stakeholder community and invite us all to a multi-stakeholder dialogue, not Brazil-centered, not ICANN-centered, an open multi-stakeholder dialogue. We thank you for the invitation and we will respond to it, Minister Bernardo, because that's the spirit of the multi-stakeholder IGF. The continent I come from, Africa, has a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So let's go together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chad. Our next speaker is Mr. Johannes Karklins, Assistant Director General for Communications and Information, UNESCO.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Minister of Communication and Information Technologies of Indonesia, Minister Sembiring, Honorable Ministers, UN Assistant Secretary General, Excellencies, distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by thanking His Excellency Minister Sembiring for generosity hosting this Internet Governance Forum and welcoming us so warmly in Bali, in a literal sense as well. I would like also to express UNESCO's appreciation for the remarkable work of the IGF Secretariat and interim chair of the open consultations and meetings of the IGF multi-stakeholder group, and all of the volunteers who contributed to preparation of 2013 IGF annual meeting. The organization of the IGF itself is an excellent example of a successful multi-stakeholder cooperation. This multi-stakeholder aspect is the first out of 4 points that I would like to make. For UNESCO, Internet governance must remain the exercise of effective multi-stakeholder collaboration. The multi-stakeholder approach to addressing Internet governance issues that was established at the World Summit on the Information Society has proven its longevity and effectiveness at all levels, international, regional, and national. This was also evident at the VISIS plus 10 first review event hosted by UNESCO in Paris in February of this year. Many of you joined us in our special session on Internet governance, as well as to other Internet governance related sessions. The participants of the WSIS plus 10 review event adopted by consensus a very rich final statement that underlines the need to preserve and promote free, open, secure, and trustworthy Internet. Consultations between all stakeholders took time and effort, but this was the most efficient way to advance despite of the challenges the inclusive process may pose. My second point relates to UNESCO's promotion of human rights of freedom of expression. This must also be safeguarded on the Internet and consequently reflected in the Internet governance policies and practices, also upholding other rights such as privacy and security of the person. This is particularly true in the current context of the ongoing discussions on the actual use of Internet and in particular to the preservation of privacy online. At its 192nd session of the Executive Board, which just closed 10 days ago, UNESCO discussed an item, ethics and privacy in cyberspace. After heated debates, which clearly indicated the extreme complexity of the issue, Member States agreed that UNESCO should continue addressing ethical and privacy issues in cyberspace involving experts from different stakeholder groups and different parts of the world. At this upcoming session of the General Conference, which will start its work in early November, the question of a non-binding normative instrument will be discussed further and the decision will be taken. I invite anyone who is interested in the subject to attend UNESCO Open Forum, where this issue will be further addressed. Thirdly, Internet governance must ensure universal access to information and knowledge. Some commentators still link the access question simply to infrastructure issues. while access for all is much more complex. It also requires us to overcome language, content, and capacity challenges. The opportunity to use one's language on the internet has a direct impact on the number of citizens who can benefit from such technology. We must ensure that provision of access to the internet and also ensure that empowerment of individuals with different cultural backgrounds and languages so that they can continue to create locally relevant content. With that in mind, UNESCO is working with URID in analyzing the IDN uptake in the world and will present this third edition of the report of the World Report on IDNs. And in this context, I would like to congratulate ICANN on placing in the root these three IDN top-level domain names. Fostering media and information literacy competencies, especially at school level, is vital if Internet users are to practice informed and ethical engagement with Internet, and we're promoting a global network on this subject. Fourthly, UNESCO is working on a new concept of Internet universality. Our organization is seeking input from IGF community to feed the conceptual work on this notion at a workshop which will take place on Friday morning. We think this concept could serve to highlight holistically the continued conditions for progress towards inclusive knowledge societies and the elaboration of the post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. In closing, 2 years ago, UNESCO in its document presented to General Conference stated that attention of international debate will gradually shift from issues of infrastructure development to the actual use of Internet. Yesterday's high-level dialogue clearly showed how multifaceted and complex this discussion can be. It is much easier to count kilometers of cables than to understand and predict human behavior. It requires time, it requires patience. IGF is well placed for such kind of a dialogue, for such kind of exchange. Let's make best use of it all together. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to what surely will be a very fruitful discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Cocklinson. The next speaker is Ambassador Danny Sepulveda, U.S. Coordinator for International Communications and Information Policy.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be with you here today. The United States would like to thank the IGF Secretariat, the Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, for organizing our week together in Bali. And of course, we want to thank our gracious Indonesian hosts. The United States deeply values being a part of the IGF community. That is why this year, the U.S. government made a significant donation to the IGF Trust Fund, demonstrating our commitment to this institution and its continued vitality. The architects of the Internet built it as an open and inclusive platform. As a result, the Internet today is no more any one country's than any others. It is no more any one stakeholder's than any others. And having grown in a manner unprecedented in the history of communications, as a result, the Internet today is acting as a springboard for human development worldwide. It helps grow economies. It enables democratic discourse, it broadens opportunities, and it launches innovation. The question for us at this IGF is how do we embrace that accomplishment and continue to advance? The United States welcomes this opportunity to offer our views. We support an open dialogue on the modernization and evolution of the multi-stakeholder system that enables the operation of the global Internet. Bottom-up, inclusive, cooperative efforts to empower users and further enable innovation free from arbitrary intergovernmental control is what the U.S. has been calling for all along. We believe that the proper response to concerns related to Internet development, from bridging the remaining digital divide, to protecting children online, to developing best practices for securing networks, lies in the cooperative work between and within multi-stakeholder institutions. The Internet's universal deployment will depend on all of us encouraging and enabling private investment in technology and infrastructure that will drive down the cost of access. To demonstrate our commitment to affordable Internet access for everyone, the United States government proposed and worked with a variety of stakeholders to launch the creation of the Alliance for an Affordable Internet, a coalition of 30 partners from private sector, public sector, and civil society organizations. This multinational, multi-stakeholder coalition stands together in its aim to provide affordable Internet access in developing countries. The United States also operates the Global Broadband Initiative out of USAID, which is working with countries to develop universal service programs and national broadband plans. And our private sector is investing heavily in wireless solutions to bridge the world's remaining digital divide. There's always much more to be done, and collectively we should. But we think these efforts are positive contributions to the very real challenges that remain. Separately, the leaders of the Internet's multi-stakeholder governing organizations have renewed calls to modernize the Internet's governing system and make it more inclusive. Their recent statement from Montevideo should be seen as an opportunity to seek that broad inclusion and for organizing multi-stakeholder responses to outstanding Internet issues. And we must work together with these organizations in good faith on these important issues. We should, however, guard against recent arguments for centralized intergovernmental control of the Internet that have used recent news stories about intelligence programs for their justification. I can assure you that the United States takes your concerns, those that many of you have expressed regarding recent NSA disclosures, very, very seriously. And I certainly understand the desire to raise related issues here. As with all difficult issues that are discussed in this forum over the years, let us remain good stewards of the Internet. As we mark the opening of the IGF, let us use this time together to construct solutions to the digital divide. Let us work cooperatively to improve the trust, confidence, and security of our networks. Let us continue to promote an open Internet that can serve as a platform for innovation and job growth. Let us think creatively to bring more developing country stakeholders to the tables of the existing multi-stakeholder Internet institutions. And let us grow and evolve together. After all, that is what has brought us here today. A common appreciation for the good that the Internet has enabled, and an interest in the future of the Internet to perpetuate those benefits and bring them to all corners of the globe. Let's work together and engage in robust and candid discussions here this week. Let us capture them in a way that is useful for each of us as we take the next steps. And let us ensure that we make the most of this compelling opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. The next speaker is Ms. Nena Nwakwana, Civil Society Africa Regional Coordinator, World Wide Web Foundation. Yeah, I know.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Nena. I'm of Nigerian origin and I live in Côte d'Ivoire. I love football and I'm a global citizen through the internet. I'm also part of the steering group of the platform called Best Bits that allows civil society to do things together in the framework of the IGF. Yes, I work for the World Wide Web Foundation as the regional coordinator for Africa. The World Wide Web Foundation was established by the web inventor Sir Tim Berners-Lee. He's been mentioned several times here. And what we do is to strengthen and defend the open web as a global public good and the basic right. We work with others to make the web truly universal, open and free through initiatives like the Alliance for Affordable Internet that was just spoken about, and the Web Index to track the health and the utility of the web in over 80 countries. We also put the open web to work to strengthen democracy and participation, especially by harnessing the power of open data. And that is the reason why we are here, to engage as civil society and participate in this process. There are some issues we agreed to that need to be reminded to us. The first is human rights. We seem to be moving farther from human rights as we move further on the internet governance process. I strongly believe, and the civil society as well, that human rights need to make a comeback in the IGF and be kept at center stage. The second is multi-stakeholder participation. Every speaker has used that word. Open, accountable, transparent, multi-stakeholder participation in the IGF. At the moment, it's not very clear how we are doing on it. And maybe the time is right for us to start measuring multi-stakeholder engagement, its impact, and the promises we've made in this area. The third is our development focus. We must never lose focus that our collective effort in the internet governance process is aimed at making the internet a tool for poverty reduction, for health service delivery, for education at all levels, for the economic well-being of our world. We must therefore continue to extend the internet of opportunities. Opportunities for people like me, opportunities for indigenous people, opportunities for nomadic people, opportunities for rural dwellers, opportunities for landlocked countries, opportunities for island states, opportunities for countries made up of islands like Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, a basic broadband plan costs the average African like myself almost 2/3 of the normal salary, the normal monthly income. In the world's 49 poorest countries, only 1 in 10 people have access to the internet. 25 net citizens and journalists were killed, and 157 have been imprisoned last year. Between May 2012 and today alone, 24 countries have passed new laws or regulations that could restrict free speech online, violate users' privacy, and punish individuals who post certain type of content. This is therefore a call for urgent action to everyone who is here and who is following remotely. A call for action for greater and enhanced cooperation of all stakeholders. A call to action for an affordable internet for everyone, everywhere. A call for action in favor of accessibility to make the internet real for persons like my friend living with disabilities. A call for action for more efficient internet governance process at national levels, because that is where home is. A call for action in mainstreaming gender equity, youth engagement, and more remote participation at all levels of internet governance. To continue to enhance the capacity of the internet as a tool for safeguarding social justice, equity, diversity, and multilingualism. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the growing threat of unwarranted government surveillance across the globe deserves our attention. The current trend to justify rash and poorly considered expansion of state surveillance in the name of our protection must be rejected. Humanity needs the internet to be and to remain neutral, open, universal, and free.